Oracle could take away Flame Guard.
Yeah.
So they go for the Tide Hunter.
No, it's IO carry.
It's IO carry.
Earth Spirit supports. Earth Spirit Oracle supports.
I'm not entirely sure that the Tidehunter is going to fulfill the same niche that the Troll did, but it's OG. Who the hell knows? I have no idea looking at that draft. I mean, carry IO.
It's certainly going to be a fun one to watch. I'm looking forward to this. Both these teams just fresh off the matchup against Viking.
But level 1 Darks here, not so good. Nice
little two-man Fissure, and with the Enchant Totem hit as well, that's a lot of damage on a mid-one here, but fortunately there was just a little bit of gap to be able to get away.
If that was a block off, that actually would have been really sick. That would be first blood.
I wonder how many bracers Thompson's going to get in this matchup. Because I have to imagine, like, he gets 1 or 2 bracers, he just dominates this. Misha staying alive with a healing salve thanks to some nice micro with that Centaur stun.
No roll up yet.
He's going to roll into him now, but a bit too late to get the kill. I'm sure Soxa's just happy to be able to get a lot of damage in. Saberlight finally gets caught back over. Okay. Wow, he really did kill him. I was a bit surprised he was able to pull out that kind of damage, but it did cost him his life as he had to dive deep underneath the tier 1 tower. Heroes do. Both of them are traditionally offlaners, and they're both kind of like farming machines. We'll see if they're able to utilize that kind of heavy farm, though, to stop what Ninjas of Pajamas is going to be looking to do, which is probably moving around the map. Lycanult, first one of the game to go off and see if he can chase down Seb. Unfortunately, that Fissure doesn't block him in, but the Surge is going to wear out eventually here, and he is no doubt dead. As Charlie will chase him down, turn that into a tier 1 tower, and you've got yourself a pretty successful shapeshift.
Oh wow, they kept the catapult alive too throughout the entire time.
Yeah.
Must have been the Enchantress creep. Yeah, I took a range creep.
Soxa, he tried to pull that creep wave like you were pointing out yesterday, take it out of range of the tower so the tower can aggro onto the siege wagon.
Too many summons, can't do it.
Too many summons. Too much stuff out there.
Yeah, we're back to the zoo meta.
God, no.
Good stuff, NIP.
Surrounding him right now in that mid lane, but that's the beautiful thing about Tidehunter. He can usually ignore quite a bit of it, and Misha does end up going down thanks to the help of No-Tail with those heavy nukes. That is something. Enchantress, I always hate playing the matchup against Oracle, because you put so much magic damage out there, and you're such a frail creature to just raw nukes.
It's true. You need a couple of bracers. At the very least, a range drop to deal with it.
Looks like Saberlight used his Supernova just recently. Saberlight goes back into Thompson here and takes a big swing for the Anchor Smash and dies to the Gush follow-up. They do manage to get the kill on the supports here, but it's costing them quite a bit. They really need the secondary kill on Soxa, but Supreme can't block it in. He's going to have to pursue underneath the tier 1, gets the kill. And this is the downside of Tidehunter, as these mobile heroes just kind of chase around him. He can't really help out too much, and now he's going to be surrounded by everybody. Does manage to get off an Anchor Smash, and that'll help keep him alive, especially with the relocate of mid-one coming in. And this is going to be sort of the trade-off, right, is that Lycan's going to be able to split push and take a lot of the side lane towers, but old Tidehunter, Rent, the immovable object, as he just presses forward into this mid lane, and they can do very little about him.
Right. Yep, diving into the tier 2 as well. He does not care.
No, it's like a Timbersaw, you know, where you've got this peak of strength and you want the enemy to try and fight you.
If they can kill this catapult, though, I think they're perfectly fine here without the DD.
Nice block in there on No-Tail, and it looks like OG
almost got it off.
A little bit too far for themselves. That's in part because they were fighting a bottom lane where Saberlight did die to mid one. They're probably thinking to themselves, well, we've got relocate to pull people into the mid lane, but they were busy. Busy getting a more important kill, a Core Phoenix.
Although, you know, I would argue that the mid lane, at least stopping that pressure, like killing that catapult is really important, because this is a big spike for Tidehunter. I think okay, Supreme. Thompson?
They're going to try a little bit. The chains instantly dispelled by the maxed out Crocodile here. Now he is going to be able to get the Fissure block in, but the Ravage is up, as you said. He chooses an Anchor Smash instead. The Surge allows him to get away. That'll help solve some of the mobility problems for a Tidehunter. Soxa, though, his mobility is canceled by Charlie. Now the Ravage going up, but he outruns the Tentacles, and the Necronomicons will eventually kill him. And Thompson, having killed that melee Necronomicon, actually just gets bursted down. The Echo Slam is there to finish the deal, and Ninjas of Pajamas can now take tier 1 mid of their own, perhaps.
Yeah, these are huge kills. I mean, especially the Tidehunter. I think there's zero way that you ever lose the mid tower as long as the Tidehunter is alive. And if they could get a lucky stun on Supreme, he could very quickly die here in this mid lane. But it's just the Earth Spirit or Ravage. Those are very difficult to hit on an Ember
See
Spirit.
how quickly Supreme reacts to these situations here as he's broken some of the smoke. Thompson given the surge to wrap around to the side here.
Love this positioning from NIP. They're not backing off into their own area. They're maintaining their position on this dire high ground here.
All except Saberlight here, who's a little bit away from his team, still occupying that triangle. But that's because he's a Phoenix. He's got enough mobility to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're OG, you're totally happy with this. Even though you don't get a kill, you make your way into the enemy triangle, get some wards down.
I think with Saberlight a little bit too far away, they've got to just full out retreat from this area. I'm surprised they're still here, man. Fortunately, Charlie, Arrow was in position to be able to break that smoke and even got hit by the stun from Saksa, so Charlie was able to get off his ultimate. And if they'd gotten a double damage, it would have been the easiest Roshan ever. Since they didn't, and he was given to an Ember Spirit, this is going to be significantly more difficult. And that's why OG, they're not going to let Ninjas the Pajamas just walk into the pit. They're going to try and take the fight straight to Nip. They're going to be able to catch Misha to start this fight, but it's just supports for now. Saberlight, he may be a big kill, but he doesn't even get to pop the Supernova in time. Supreme jumps away to his Remnant, but OG just keeps on trucking. The extra movement speed on Thompson, whether it's from the Tether or the Surge, is allowing him to always kind of keep a threat on this Ember.
You know, I'm kind of liking this this meta that OG is crafting here. This is, I've just never seen anything like it. I mean, we've seen the Carry Wisp, obviously, with TI, but, you know, this Tide mid, Darkseer surging with the extra move speed, and you know, you remove the move speed cap. Like, this is some new technology here.
Yeah, pretty much you're theory crafting, like, what can you do with the carry Tidehunter? And it's like the biggest downside is mobility, right? Being able to stick on top of heroes. He just charges right in. And
what? Are you serious?
Misha's just gone, just like that. A Fissure wall that kind of goes wrong for Ninjas the Pajamas. They do manage to get off the Supernova as well as the Echo Slam. It looks like the Supernova's gonna die, as will Era. Supreme is just left to try and pump out the rest of the damage by himself because he doesn't have Lycan here with Shapeshift. He gets pulled back from the vacuum into No-Tail's Fortune's End. Trapped down, and OG, for the third attempt at Roshan, will finally complete it.
You know what's so interesting about this? It's like, it's almost like the Troll, but you're like a Timber Saw too. You know, you're not killable. Like, he can just surge in and man up because you don't want to go into Tidehunter. Who would do that? But you have to. He's in your face.
Yep.
Man. I mean, I doubt it just because it's so weird, but it's just OG, man. It's what they do.
Every single fight from Ninjas the Pajamas, because the Lycan looks so destroyed by this Tidehunter, right? He feels like he really can't get in there. It's just Supreme. Just kind of run around. Nope, he can't do enough damage by himself. Oh, if that Fissure block had actually landed, maybe they could have forced something out. No-Tail still doesn't have his ultimate, but maybe could have gotten something. Solar Crest now complete for the Tidehunter, so he's got all the minus armor items he needs. He's going to relocate in. They're actually going to pop the Shapeshift here. They have to go for the backline heroes. That's why No-Tail's going to be the first target. He's already dead. Mid one is actually in a bit of trouble here. 3 seconds until he relocates back, so they're going to norm now and go for the support. Saksa, what a vacuum pull-in from Seb. Looks really hot, but can they actually chase down the rest of these important heroes? Because even Misha, the squishy 5 position, is getting away. The heal actually brings him back up to near full, and Thompson still on that front line, still ready to fight, but Ninjas the Pajamas, they see that Thompson's wraps low enough. They actually get the Eul's Scepter on the Surge, so Thompson, he's not going anywhere. He's going to be stuck inside the Supernova. Sure, he keeps on dispelling off these stuns, but the damage, it's coming a little bit more from Saberlight. He could have gotten it. Supreme is there to be able to get it with a slight chain combo that finishes off the Tidehunter and allows them to get away from the myriad of illusions that are left on the field from good old Darkseer.
Okay, so you know what? One thing that NIP has going for them, one big thing, is that the Enchantress can purge the Surge, and so can the Eul Scepter on the Ember Spirit. I think that's a really good pickup here. I mean, especially because you deal with the silence as well.
And this IO actually looks pretty squishy now. I don't know what it was, the damage output they were doing. Maybe some of it was Misha with the impetus shot. Yeah, he's got it up now, though. So N0tail, he can play forward like he was doing before because the Ravage is there to assist Era. You can see half his health is gone from one Anchor Smash. If he gets another one, Era's just going to die, and he's get caught up by the rest of OG. So does Misha. Once again, the two supports of Ninjas in Pajamas, they do die, but this is still OG kind of 5-manning and taking over the map.
And he heals so much when he Anchor Smashes a creep wave there, actually.
Yeah.
Or the Wolves. I love that they can die basically doing this one time before, and they continue being so aggressive. Like, I think they have to keep the aggression up here.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Because eventually the Ember Spirit gets a bit too big and starts killing a lot of your backline heroes, right? And this is where the Lycan coming into play, goes into the back, trying to go for N0tail. They actually tried to hit the Meteor Hammer combo with the Supernova, but it wasn't good enough, and the Ravage actually clipped Supreme. He didn't dodge it with a slight or a jump to his Remnant or anything. So that was just an easy kill for Tidehunter to be able to grab, and they didn't have buyback. So now OG, with their aggression, this second time around, it works for them. They use the Ravage effectively, and now they can just have free reign of Ninjas in Pajamas base.
Right, the Ravage, I think, is the really important factor there because it is what allowed them to, number one, protect N0tail, and number two, it covered them while they killed the egg. So he's just making really good use out of the Ravage. I was about to question holding the Ravage because the Eul Scepter came out, and maybe they could have gotten the double kill, but Topson basically decided clearly he wants to use it defensively. The way that they lost that fight before was by losing the Oracle, and by holding the Ravage, they can't lose the Oracle.
Yeah.
So, you win the fight, take Rax. Almost.
Now, can they actually finish off this melee Rax? It looks like OG feels like it's not worth a try while Ravage is on cooldown.
Yeah, now it's really...
But if somebody treads a little bit too far forward, like perhaps Supreme and the rest of his team does, Topson just rolls up once again, makes Enchantress the target again and again. Supreme uses his Light Strike, and out one, an Echo Slam from Era as he jumps in, but everybody heals up. The mech comes out, the heals from the Oracle, and it looks like everybody is perfectly fine except for maybe N0tail, who's still kind of being run down by the Necronomicon units. He does eventually die, but it doesn't really matter. You won the fight, and you're still ready to go for these melee barracks.
Charlie's on a mega kill streak and they're losing. This is so sad. I mean, that's just the Lycan versus Tidehunter matchup, though. He can't do anything other than kill the Oracle in these fights. Yeah. He can try and go in and go for the squishiest hero, but somebody has Greaves. Okay, so he has Greaves and he has a Crimson Guard. And obviously against Lycan and Ember, this chip damage, that's very important. With a Tidehunter, he becomes basically unkillable.
Perfect.
Yeah, you take a large percentage of the damage away, and then you take just straight up raw damage out. Topson, though, he's really got to be careful of that Sunray. That's the only thing that really threatens him right now, is if he stays into the entirety of that percentage-based damage does do some good work. And what a roll-in from Saksa, reading where the Remnant's going, and that's a vacuum follow-up as well with the Ravage. And is that just going to be the wipeout of this game? They do manage to take out the Supernova, and there's still some buybacks left in the tank for Ninjas in Pajamas. They're going to have to blow all of them, though, and they don't have their Echo Slam. They don't have their Supernova. I'm not sure what they have to be able to stop OG from retreating, and I'm not even sure if they can really stop them from just taking their base like this. Roll forward, Saberlight tries to dive away. Then he dies inside of the fountain too. Couldn't get out fast enough. The silence on Supreme. Look at the move speed on these two heroes. Yeah, dude, they're just rolling up. Finally, Charlie, he's gonna pop his ultimate. There goes the Echo Slam out from Era. Once again, they're trying to target to mid one, but the heals come out from N0tail. Every single time they try and target somebody else other than N0tail, they are met with a resounding wall of heals and magic immunity that pushes them back. They finally had to go for N0tail now, but then eventually they just run out of damage. The 4-man of OG remains strong, even just outside of your fountain. Pull him back in, pull out of the fountain, get back here. We want to have a fight a little bit longer before we finish up this bottom lane.
I'm just speechless. I feel like this is really making me feel like Dark's here is not an okay hero.
GG, man.
Like, they are really using this Dark's here to its fullest potential. This strategy is not okay.
Combination.
Like, the Darkseer surging 2 people, one of which is unkillable. I mean, 2 of which, both of them were.
Yeah. Winnie has